Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Unified Triplicity, where we hopefully dissolve boundaries that may be acting as roadblocks in your life, blocking you from seeing the deep spiritual truths everywhere for everyone to see. On today's episode, I'd like to discuss some things that I find some interest in. Today we're going to be talking about the symbolism of the Star of David. We're going to be talking about King Solomon. We're going to talk about Jesus, the people of Israel, and ultimately we're going to tie a lot of this in to Norse mythology, okay? Because people might not realize that they're a lot more alike than most people think. So, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so as discussed on previous episodes, I'm going to also tie this into human consciousness, okay, in different aspects of the human consciousness, okay? As you can see behind me, there's a lot of symbolism. It looks a little bit more disorganized than it actually is, okay? But some of the first things to understand are the symbols involved in the Abrahamic religions, okay? But more specifically, we're going to talk about the Star of David today and its components. Okay, so without further ado on that, let's get started. Okay, so here we have the Star of David. As you can see, it is made by combining two different facing triangles, both equilateral triangles, okay, both equally important to the Holy Child. So, the upward pointing triangle is known as the blade, okay? The downward pointing triangle is known as the chalice. The blade is your masculine aspect of consciousness, your self-defense principle. The downward pointing triangle is known as the chalice. That is your feminine aspect, okay? Think of the chalice, the cup. You fill the cup. The blade is something that penetrates. Got to relate it to sex just so we can get that, kind of principle of gender into there. Well, when you combine the two, you create the Holy Child. Now, there's a lot of different traditions and teachings that basically say the same thing, okay, just in different language. But let's keep it to this for right now, okay? Now, when you combine those two, you create the Star of David. Well, the Star of David is the Son of David, okay? Because a star is a sun. So, the Son of David was none other than King Solomon, and this is also known as the Seal of Solomon, okay? Star of David and the Seal of Solomon, okay? Now, what makes this so important and how do I tie it into human consciousness? So when you combine the feminine and masculine aspects of human consciousness, you're able to have the third pillar. In Freemasonry, it is known as the Ionic Pillar of Enlightenment. The enlightening pillar, that is the Star of David, the sun. Okay, so let's break down the language of the name Solomon really quick. Little prerequisite knowledge. The letter O in the Phoenician or Hebrew alphabet, it is Ayin, and it means eye, okay? Well, the eye in the sky is known as Saturn, okay? So this will be an interesting little tie together that I worked really hard on, so I hope people appreciate it. Okay, let me switch over to here. So you've got Solomon, all right? There's a lot of different ways that you can break down this name, okay? But for this, we're going to break it down this way. So we've got Solomon, Sol, O, Mon. We've got Sol plus O plus Mon. Sol is the name for the sun, okay? Plus O, Ayin, I, is Saturn. The sun, Saturn, and plus Mon is the moon. So you've got sun, Saturn, and moon. Now, where else do we see this symbolism? Okay, so we've got Solomon, king of the people of Israel. Israel is Isis plus Ra plus El, which is moon plus sun plus Saturn. So funny how that ties together. Okay, but there is also something else that ties into it. So Jesus says that he is the son of David. So right there, he is saying he is the son of David, the Star of David. He is Solomon. Okay? But he also says he is the Son of Man. The Son of Man. Son, Sol, O, Man. Son of Man. We're not talking literally here with the language, but we're talking phonetics, philology. What does it sound like? Sol, O, Man. Son of Man. Okay? So, it's weird how much symbolism and how much language is encoded with secrets, okay? Now, how this ties into human consciousness, okay? You combine the sun, right? You combine the moon, the male and female aspects of consciousness, and you create Saturn, the eye. The all-seeing eye is what we're talking about, that pineal gland. When you combine those feminine and masculine aspects of human consciousness, when you have your thoughts and actions in alignment, you get that real emotion. You get that activation of the pineal gland, so long as it's not clouded with poison. Okay? You have to clean your body up. You have to clean out your mind. You have to clean out your spirit. So, let's talk about the all-seeing eye for a minute. A lot of people associate the all-seeing eye with evil because the all-seeing eye is on the back of the $1 bill. Okay? Realistically, all it is talking about your pineal gland, okay? The third eye, excuse me. And everyone wants to get caught up in that whole Freemasons are evil thing, okay? I wouldn't say that they're evil. I wouldn't say that they're necessarily inherently good either, okay? A lot of people get led astray. A lot of people are misguided. You know, I've been misguided. Who knows? I may be misguided right now in the things that I am saying. So, to tie this in to Norse mythology, let's talk about this with the language. So, God, for the sins of the world, okay, he gave his only begotten Son, or S-O-N, Son, so that all may have eternal life. Okay? God is the Father of all. God is the All-Father. Odin is the All-Father. And Odin gave up his eye. Okay? His holy child. I know that it's different right here from there. Okay? But we're talking about the holy child between the male and the female aspects. So, God gave up his Son, which is Saturn, so that all may have eternal life. Odin gave up his eye, his Ayin, so that way his people could have the power of runes. Well, if you were to watch Ben Balderson's videos of Yggdrasil, the Unbroken Tree of Life, and you were to watch his videos on runes, you'd realize that the runes are what make up the Tree of Life. So, there you have it. Odin gave up his eye, his holy child, so that his people could have the power of runes, the Tree of Life, eternal life. It's the same story, slightly different language. Well, greatly different language, because we're talking Phoenician Hebrew versus Norse, but it's the same fucking thing, okay? People want to get caught up in the differences in ideologies when they're saying the same fucking thing, all right? So, important to watch out for this stuff, you know, not necessarily to be careful, but to just watch and see what you can find. I was driving down the street, and I'm going to call out Brood Awakenings. If you look at the, if you were to look at the symbol for Brood Awakenings, if they have that in your area, if not, then disregard this. But Brood Awakenings is a coffee shop, and their sign out front is a big triangle that has this symbol right here. All right, you got the triangle with awakenings and a bunch of little stuff like that, okay? And it's talking about, well, it's referencing that all-seeing eye coming on, the awakening of the pineal gland, the awakening of the third eye. That's what it's referencing, but subliminally. They don't go outright and say that. They reference it through the symbolism in order to get people to buy their stuff, because subconsciously our brain already knows what that means. We see awakenings in the middle of the upright triangle, we instantly think, you know, subconsciously about the third eye, our all-seeing eye. So there's a lot of symbolism that you'll see regarding these aspects of consciousness. You'll see this symbolism everywhere that you go, you know, and it's important to understand this stuff, because where you see it, you'll understand, you know, these people are either trying to sell you something, you know, subliminally, or they're being right out front and honest and open about it, and hey, I'm trying to sell you something. Anyways, I hope anybody gets something out of this. If you do, great. If not, you know, keep coming back. If you did get something out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, share. You know, share it with somebody who you think might benefit out of this. And hopefully more people can come to an understanding of some of the symbolism that's everywhere, you know. And I really hope that you guys appreciate the work that it took to do the research and put this thing together, even though it's a fucking 13-minute long video right now. I hope that you appreciate the hours of contemplation, meditation, and language study and symbolism study that it took just to put this together. You know, I hope you guys appreciate it. Anyways, have a good night.